Hey Spotlight, I'm going to take you through my spreadsheet for analyzing this property. This is what I was going to do when we sat down to meet, but I'll just do it here so you can get a feel for how I go about doing this. So this is my spreadsheet. I'm sending you the spreadsheet. The shaded boxes are the ones you're going to be plugging in numbers. So for this property that you sent me, which is pending right now, so it's not available anymore, but we'll go ahead and analyze it anyway. Plug in the price. A down payment of 25% is the minimum down payment you can expect to get for an investor loan. So I just plug in 25%. You can go higher than that, but you're not going to get a loan that's lower than that. And we go over here and plug in the approximate rate you can expect to get. You might be able to get a little lower than this, but I'm just going to plug in 5.5% for now. And let's do a 30-year amortization. Then we skip down to the bottom where we enter our rent and expenses. So we've got a one unit. There's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,378 square feet. I looked up the rent range, and we can talk more about how to do an estimate of rent later on, but for now I've just come up with about $2,300 a month for rent. So we plug in the low rent here of $2,200 and the high rent here of $2,300. And then if you have any other income from the property like laundry, storage, parking, utility bill back, etc., you can plug that all in here. I'm just going to leave it at $2,200 a month for the income. Go over here to the expense side. These are annualized expenses. So we've got $37.93 in taxes. Insurance, just estimate about $600 for a 1-unit property. Utilities, you would have the tenant pay all utilities, so nothing there. Maintenance, I'm just throwing in about $100 a month for maintenance. That might be a little bit on the high side, but that's a pretty good estimate. I'm assuming no professional management, that you're going to manage it yourself. If that's not the case, we can stick in about 10% on your monthly income is about what you'd expect to pay for professional management. Resident manager is if you have an on-site manager to handle some of the duties in addition to that, but that's when you get into a multifamily property, say 10 units, you get one person to function as the resident manager and pay them maybe half a month's rent or so for the duties they're going to be performing. This is a condo, so there is a fee of homeowners association fee is $359 a month. So I've annualized that at $5,508. So we've got total expenses $10,000 here, which is pretty high. The most contributing to that is from the HOA dues. The taxes you can't get around, but this is the one factor with condos that often makes condos not a very attractive property for rental. So we come back up here, we can see our cap rate on the low side is just over 3%, and then about 3.25% on the high side. The lower the cap rate, cap rate is an indication of the return on the investment, and 3% is a pretty low return. You can kind of compare, just in general, compare that with what you're getting from your CD, or if you think you can invest in the stock market and get 8%, then this is equivalent of about 3% return on your money. Now go down to the annualized operating data section. We got the gross income, $26,400. Taking about 5% off of that as an estimate for what we're going to lose in vacancy. Leaving your gross operating income, $25,000. Take out your expenses of $10,000, and you're left with your net operating income of just over $15,000 on the low side. This is your high of $16,219. That is your net operating income. Out of that net NOI, it's called, or net operating income, at that point you're going to take out your cost of financing. So take out $25,295 as your cost of financing. That's your interest and principal payments, leaving you with a terrible return on your terrible cash flow here of negative $10,000. So that is why this very quickly shows you that this property is not a good investment. It's not fetching high enough rent, and it's not renting for enough, and the price is too high. Then if we factor in how much you're paying down your principal, that does help a bit and gives you a negative of $5,215 negative cash flow per year. Look on the cash on cash return on this. This is how much return you're getting on the actual cash. So when you're looking at real estate as an investment, you're leveraging your money. You're only putting down your down payment, in this case $123,000 down payment. The rest of it is financed. So the cash on cash is how much return you're getting based on the $123,000 that you've got invested. So in this case, it's a negative 8.3, negative 4.2 after factoring the principal pay down, making this not a very good investment property, at least cash flow wise. If you thought that there was going to be great appreciation on this, maybe you'd be willing to take zero or negative, slightly negative cash flow. That's a pretty big negative cash flow, so not thinking that this is a very good investment anyway, but there you go. That's how you can plug in and use this spreadsheet to analyze a property.